Hello, I'm Mara Purl, and this is Novel Conversations. And my guest today is the wonderful Bill Bradley, who is a writer along with many other accomplishments. So, Bill, we've been talking about your script writing and screenwriting for your fantastic play, which is now also a film called Rolling Along. But you're also a New York Times bestselling author of a number of books. And I'm a fellow writer, and a lot of my colleagues are writers. And I think it would be fun to talk about the different approach to different kinds of writing. So, you had previously written at least one memoir, Time Present, Time Past. Would you call
Hmm.
that a memoir, right? And
Yes.
then The Journey from Here was
Hmm.
also, although your memoirs are not kind of tell all, they're more purposeful. You're telling things that have happened to you and things that you've seen, but always, I think, with a purpose of sharing perspectives and kind of waking people up to a larger overview. But so how was writing those memoir pieces rather different from writing Rolling Along?
Well, I mean, it all begins the same way. You get a blank piece of paper and,
Yes.
and you start making lists of stories.
Hmm.
And then you take the stories and look at them and figure out how they fit together. With a book, you're also dealing with history, you're dealing with other people. With a performative autobiography, you're dealing with your own life. So you have to go deep into yourself in order to connect with people because they have to see themselves in you. So it was a different kind of writing. And it was, well, you could say it's a series of anecdotes tied together, but it's much more than that because they're structured in a certain way, try to build drama or build motion or build insight. And I actually had as much fun writing this as I did Time Present, Time Past, the memoir. Um, Probably more fun because I knew that what I was writing, I was going to say.
Right.
So I had to think about what are my patterns of speech as well as what are the words on the page.
Hmm. Yeah. So that normally when you're writing a script, one of the most important parts of it, obviously, is the dialogue, and you have to have an ear for dialogue and be able to put on the page how people actually sound. And so
Yeah.
that's what you're saying in Rolling Along. You had to sound like yourself, which
I
sounds
not,
easy,
I
but it
not only
isn't.
had to sound like myself, but I had to capture other people. For example,
Yes.
when I do the beach walk every year, I'd walk along the Jersey Shore,
Yes, I
127
love
miles,
that.
and then people would rush up to me and they'd say, uh, you know, and I talk about some of the things they say to me as they walk up and say, Bradley, you bum, I had a good pension, and then you eliminated the son of you're a bum, or I have, you know, all the things that they would say, they'd shout at me, and
It seems to me that memoir is sort of the best of, when it's done beautifully, the best of fiction and nonfiction, because you have a narrative voice and you have storytelling. Would it be fair to say that you fairly quickly abandoned the strict chronology?
yes and no. I had to begin somewhere, and so I began in childhood and worked myself up to present day. But there are a lot of digressions that go back, but it follows pretty much a chronological order with flashbacks to various things that have happened. I run into someone and recall something 20 years earlier, and I talk about that. And so
Yes.
chronology was the basic structure, but with flashbacks. And that's how I wrote it.
It really reminds me in a way of the structure of Life on the Run, your first
Yeah,
book,
Yeah,
because the being on the bus was sort of the backbone.
yeah,
And then these sidebars where you would talk about Phil Jackson, or you would talk about Willis Reed, or you would talk about Clive Davis. And I love that structure. I think it's really iconic. One of the best sports books, but also just one of the best reads.
yeah. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, that's what I try to do in Life on the Run, and that is kind of what I did here too.
Yeah.
I mean, you move forward with chronology, but you have your outtakes, and of course, I've spent a lot of time reading and thinking about my brother of sorts, John McPhee,
Yes.
how he writes his pieces in the New Yorker, and how I've talked to him at great length, how he puts them together. Uh, and they're very much a whole, but at the same time, they have these tangents that become supportive of the whole.
Oh, what a brilliant writer he is. I mean, writing that book, was that not his first book, A Sense of Where You
Yeah,
Are?
sense of where you are, the one they wrote
Yeah,
about me when I was
about you.
19. Yeah,
Fantastic book. And
yeah,
then much later, I read Assembling California. I
yeah,
read it for research because, I write a series that's set in California. But
yeah,
again, what a compelling read.
yeah.
His structure and those
And
sidebars.
Bugles on geology, I think.
Yeah,
Base
amazing.
and range, another one. Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
I mean, when he gets into a subject, he goes deep,
right, right.
but he does it in a way through characters.
Well, and the thing about having chronology as a basic structure, but doing flashbacks is that's what happens in life too, because we come to a moment and it reminds us of something,
No question.
right? So we're in the present, but there's an echo of something that's gone before that we bring with us that makes it particularly meaningful. I mean, this is the stuff of poetry and
Yeah,
um,
there's no question about that. I
yeah,
mean,
well, all of that I think is present in Rolling Along.
and in the film and the show, I describe a dream, right?
Yes,
That I had. And that's what dreams are. That's what visions are. I mean, there are things that flash back across time and through different settings that on one level don't make any sense, on another level make profound sense.
right.
That's what I tried to capture here.
Yeah, that gets into the why of certain moments that
Yeah,
come
exactly.
from the soul.